hello. Sorry to bother you. Can I ask you a slightly odd question?
Yeah, sure.
I'm making a podcast called Strangers on a Bench, where essentially I talk to people I don't know on benches for 10 or 15 minutes. Are you up for that? Do you want to give it a go? Feeling ready?
Yes, ready.
Superb. Yeah, if there any questions you don't like, just say, don't like it.
Okay.
Do you need a safe word?
The word that came to my head was pineapple, but I feel like
Pineapple.
that's just...
It's a good word. It's a good word.
Yeah, I'll just say pineapple. I'm ready.
Do you have a favourite day of the week?
Wednesday.
Straight in there, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't work Wednesdays, that's why.
You don't work Wednesdays?
No. I don't work weekends either, but I think there's something different about having a day off in the week.
Of course.
Because even like coming here, it's a lot more peaceful than if I came on the weekend.
Yes.
It feels that little bit nicer.
You're on your own special island.
Exactly.
And we're on an island as well.
Exactly.
An island on an island.
Exactly.
You know?
Although I wish it was an island that had nicer sand, nicer weather. But yeah.
Well, there's no sand in London.
No, not in London.
There's that bit by the Thames, if you're like, you know,
If you're
just
lucky.
if you go down, well, that's not.
No, not dipping my toes in the Thames, I don't think.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Absolutely. Have you ever touched the Thames with your hands?
No.
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 How do you feel when you look upon a river like that?
The Thames? I don't know how to say. Like, water in general, I think, is quite peaceful to see water.
Yeah.
But you look at the Thames and then you see the boats coming past, then you see the colour of the water, and yeah. But I can appreciate water. I just find water quite peaceful. And when you hear water, I like the sound of water.
All right.
I find that
Like a
quite
dripping
peaceful.
tap?
Maybe not a dripping tap, because that means something's wrong. But like a waterfall or even rain. I love rain.
Oh, do you?
The sound of rain. That's my go-to when I'm at home and I
Yeah.
just need a bit of sound in the background, especially in the evening. I play rain.
Play rain?
Yeah, well, not music,
What, you just
but
type
rain.
in rain?
Yeah, on
Rain sounds.
Rain sounds. Yeah,
Are
there's
there
so many playlists
Of course.
with rain sounds.
I mean, you know, if you had to get particular about, you know, your type of rain sound that you
Yeah.
favour, what would you say?
Just like a light drizzle. Like, it's that feeling of being inside and the rain just hitting the window.
Can you trace why you find it peaceful? Do you think you didn't have an answer?
Yeah, my life, or sometimes your brain just feels like it's always working at 100 miles per hour. So I think just anything that just slows it down. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then so when you see it's raining, if you wake up one morning and you see it's raining
Yeah.
outside, do you just feel joyous?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I feel more joyous when I see sunshine,
Yeah.
but I'm not that person, you know, when someone sees it's raining, they're like, oh, it's raining. I just like, I don't know, oh, it's raining, beautiful. And it's so natural, isn't it? Like, we need rain, so...
Definitely. So when you put it on, you say you need to de-stress or
Yeah.
just calm down. What's making you stressed at the moment?
So, like, I lost my husband 3 years ago, and I have moments where my anxiety can be quite heightened or my emotions are quite heightened, and I just need to bring it down and just have a moment. And I think, yeah, rain sounds, or even just sitting here and you just hear the wind. I don't know if it's a distraction of you connect to the sound and therefore it just brings you that calm. And I think going through something like that, I've had to try and find those things that do bring me that peace and that calmness. And yeah, I just need moments where it just feels like it can just stop for a moment and I can just concentrate on that one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So prior to losing your husband, the rain sounds weren't part of your life. This is after.
No, this is after.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would your husband think of this? Your rain sound affection?
Probably think I'm a bit bonkers, but then I would then play it and he would be like, oh, actually, yeah, this is good. that happened with a lot of things with my husband, that there was things he's like, nope, don't get it. And then he'd be like enjoying it, but he wouldn't say it. But he'd definitely think I was a little bit bonkers. There's nothing wrong with bonkers.
Did he have any bonkers in him?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What was his bonkers
Billy.
bits?
Oh, that's a good question. I feel like just the way he did things, like he would cook a meal and use every single utensil possible.
Get them all out.
All out. And I'm just like, it'd be a rolling pin being used and there's no baking or anything. Yeah, that's what I loved about him. He was just a bit bonkers and a bit, but I feel like I was a little bit bonkers, so we just both worked. It just worked well. Yeah.
How did you meet?
Work. We met through work, and then I think he was trying to like go out with me a few times. I was like, oh, should we go out? And I was like, no, I'm busy. No, I'm going out with, and like I'd say, going out with someone else that was at work. And then that person would come to me later and be like, apparently we're going out. Yeah, apparently we're going out somewhere. And then eventually we just went to the cinema and for a Nando's. And then from there we just...
What film did you see?
It was a Fast and Furious, but I can't remember which one. I can't remember.
There's a lot of them?
Yeah, there's loads.
17.
It was 2013. So it's whichever one came out that
2013. Were you focused on the film or focused on him? What was the vibe?
I think I was focused on the film, but that was more because I hadn't seen the one before that, so I didn't know what was going on.
So they're just being really fast and really furious, so just going around.
Yeah, and when we went for Nando's, I remember he was saying, oh, on a first date, you never eat anything that gets stuck in your teeth, or you have to eat with your hands and gets messy. And he had chicken wings and corn on the cob.
So as he was saying this?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Cool.
And that's what I was saying about being bonkers. Yeah, it was then I was like, do you know what? I like this guy. He's funny.
What was the moment after that where, I mean, maybe it was that moment, but like where you felt something kind of click and like, this is a extra special connection?
I think it was when I went through a situation with some friends, and this was at like the beginning when we started dating, and he was very supportive of it and very good at listening, and I was really like emotional and stuff. And I think it was in that moment I was like, it doesn't matter my flaws or who I am, this guy just likes me for what he sees, kind of thing. And I think I was always that person that just felt like I was in the background, and I think I compensated that sometimes for being loud and stuff. And I just felt in that moment I was like, oh, this person just likes me for who I am. I can just be me, kind of thing. And I think that was the moment when I was like, yeah, this feels right.
How was work? I mean, being at work with him after you started seeing each other, what was that?
That was one of my worries, was work and then personal, and blurring those lines. But actually, it was actually fine.
Did people know? Did you keep it secret?
No, we did tell people, because.
Did you have to tell people straight away? I mean, like, say, oh, we're going on dates, or did you wait until you were actually like an official couple?
So I think we waited until we were an official couple, and we told the manager, because we were different levels, and he was like, yep, happy, that's fine, thank you for letting me know. And then I think the rest just came, either we told people or people just knew. Like,
they saw you in the stationery cupboard.
Exactly. Pretending we were in there to get pens. And a notepad.
I think I've run out of pens again.
And they'll be like, Eddie, use a computer.
I love it. And then fast forward, you're getting married.
Yes.
How long what were we
So I got married in 2016.
Okay, so that's
September.
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago this year. And it was...
What was the wedding like?
It was wonderful. It was chaotic. Yeah, it was.
Actually, before we get to the day, just realised, proposal?
Yeah, so the proposal...
What was that like?
Was quite interesting, because it was his 30th, and I planned this surprise. Well, I thought it was a surprise.
You were planning a surprise for his 30th?
For his 30th.
Got it.
But he had told his best friend that he wanted to propose, so his best friend said, oh, she's planning this surprise 30th for you.
Reverse surprise.
Yeah, why didn't you surprise her with the proposal? So all our family came together, did the surprise thing. He pretended he was shocked. He was like, oh my God. Then later on, the cake comes out, we sing happy birthday. And then I think I wasn't facing. And then everyone was like, oh! And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I turned around and he was on one knee proposing. And I just froze. And he asked the question and I just froze. Like I didn't. And then my mum had to give me a little, you need to answer. And I was like, kind of
intense.
Yeah.
Can you describe like what was kind of going through your mind at that moment?
I was like confused. No, I'm doing the surprise, like, and then I think it was that moment of realizing, wow, this person wants to be with me for, you know, the rest of my life, kind of thing. We'd spoken about marriage, but I'd never said I want to get married. I never said I didn't. So I think it shocked me. And then I think everybody was just looking at me and I was just like, whoa. All these eyes on me kind of. And
how did that feel?
It's like it went silent, but you can see all these eyes on you. And it's like, I was in slow motion and I could just see all these people looking at me and making faces, but I couldn't hear the noise. And then I think it was until my mum tapped me and then I was like back in the room kind of thing. I think it was the next day when it hit me. And it was so lovely to just be with friends and family. I think that just followed through into like our wedding. We just wanted it to be really meaningful to us and be how we wanted it to be. And it was perfect.
Back to the proposal for a second. At what point did you say yes then? Assuming you said yes. Maybe you delayed.
I did, but it was like a yeah. It wasn't a yes. It wasn't a. It was.
You're trying to get words out.
Yeah, and I don't know if my mum hadn't given me that nudge. I don't know how long I would have been standing there frozen.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just thinking as you were talking about it. Of all the questions you're asked, it's one of the ones where you probably should deliberate it for the maximum amount of time. And it's funny to think in the setup, you actually get no time to think about it.
It's so true.
Just realise.
And, you know, you do see and hear people that go away from it and then now they've had time to think about it and they're like, oh, I think I might have made the wrong decision. And it's so true. Anything, I think, life-changing, we do say, I need to go and think about that. Can I have a moment? Kind of something so life-changing, you have to answer in that moment.
And and even more so, I suppose, when you literally got, how many eyes do you think were on you?
Exactly.
That's also very niche as an experience, this idea of being asked a question and people waiting for you to say the answer, but en masse, a lot of people looking, you know?
Yeah, I guess that pressure of, there's a room now of people that you could either make happy or make upset rather than just one person. But I think he knew that it was the right time. He knew it was the right kind of occasion. And it was, because it was so nice to then be able to do that with people that you love. And have them around you.
So it's definitely memorable.
Yes, definitely memorable. Yes, definitely. And I think even amongst my friends and family, it's still very memorable because even when he was down on one knee, so he had a T-shirt on that people were signing, putting messages on. And as he went down on one knee, his nan was like, no, this is my time to write my message. He's nice and low. I can write my...
Brilliant.
Whilst he's proposing, she's just there.
She rocks up.
She's just there writing.
Hold that thought. Yeah. This is the perfect level.
Yeah, and even in the pictures, you can see he's on one knee and his nan's just on his back with the pen signing the top. And that's what I love about it. It's it's a thing we can laugh about and talk about.
Beautiful. And then let's fast forward to the wedding. Lots of questions one can ask about wedding, but can you think of the bit of it that you remember, but is not necessarily a spectacular moment, but a gentle, kind of mundane moment of it, a moment that for some reason stayed with you?
I think it was, I remember I went to the toilet and it was just me. And it's a busy day. There's people all around you from 6 in the morning And I remember it was just me in the toilet, and I think I just looked in the mirror. I don't know, it was that realization of like, this is one of the happiest moments of my life. And just looking at myself and being happy. I never shared that with anybody, but I think it was just that moment for me, that realization of I'm happy and this is happy, and sometimes you just don't know where you're going to be at a certain age, or I don't know, sometimes we have these plans that we think, oh, by this age I'm going to be doing this, and I didn't have any of that. And I had all these things that, you know, my friends were doing, I wasn't doing, and I was like, I don't know what my life's going to look like or what it's going to be. And just that moment of realizing that, like, my life is okay and it's good, and that sometimes you just have to let life just take you where it needs to take you, and things will happen at the time that they need to. It was just having that time, just me.
Great answer. Also counts probably for your favourite toilet moment as well.
Yeah,
if I'd ask you what's your favourite moment in the toilet, that probably covers that one.
That is exactly
Two for the
it.
price of one. When you were looking at yourself in the mirror at that moment,
Yeah.
you know, with mirrors, you know, they tend to be around our spaces. We look at them every now and again and kind of check in with ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think, in a sense, you're checking in with yourself like all the way down the line? It's like the kind of, you were speaking to all the different versions of yourself somehow.
Exactly
and like, almost like you were speaking to the journey as well.
Exactly that. And I felt like it was me talking to younger me and just saying, see, everything is okay, kind of thing. And
Like, we did it.
we did it.
got there.
Exactly. We did it. You thought you weren't. You had all these doubts. You had all these fears. And I think, yeah, it was just in that moment where I just had no fear. I think sometimes we can use a mirror to look at the flaws we have, or, you know, the things that don't look right. And I think it was a moment where I looked at the beauty, just the beauty of my life and the beauty of the moment. And I think sometimes we don't stop to do that.
When you look in a mirror now, what are you saying to yourself now?
So I think now I would see a bit of sadness to do with the things I've gone through in, you know, the past few years, but also that sadness of looking and feeling like I'm missing those moments of enjoying that time in your life or something you've gone through. And I feel like now I look in the mirror and I do the opposite, rather than thinking and looking and being like, do you know what, I'm here, like I'm going for a walk or it's a nice day. I kind of look at it as it's just me. I just see me, this lonely figure. And I do have people, but I think I visualize my life and myself very different to that day, you know, nearly 10 years ago. Like just now talking about the wedding day and engagement, and I'm like, oh, I have had some joyous moments, and there's still a snapshot now by just talking about it, and actually it's not gone. Like, it feels like, that you take that picture and then it's erased, but actually those pictures are still there. Those memories are still there.
It sounds like, you know, they're still very much a part of you.
Yeah.
But now there are a few other parts as well. And when you looked in that mirror on that day, there wasn't anything else but the kind of pure joy of it.
Exactly. But I think it's finding pockets of joy in those moments that maybe don't feel it, kind of. Do you know, could be a sad day, but the sun's shining, and actually, the sun's shining. That's so nice. And just finding those little bits of joy, and I think that's what I'm learning to do and appreciate. Yeah.
Where are your pockets of joy now? If you If you think of a last little pocket of joy that you experienced, what would it have been?
I think stuff like this. Like just here, when I sit here and I look out and I just appreciate what is on my doorstep. And then naturally that will give me some joy, or I don't know, something silly like I'll cook a dinner and like I made this kind of, and it tastes good. Those little things that happen that aren't big, but actually you can find joy in them, and they're the things that I have learned to appreciate more than the bigger things. Like the bigger things are still important, but I think we forget about the little things that actually mean just as much. Yeah.
I feel like half of experiencing joy is just like kind of looking out for it, I suppose.
Yes.
You know, that meal tonight could be joyous,
Yeah.
not just a meal. So true. Are there any kind of pockets of joy you're wanting to, or just actually not? What's not a pocket? Like a full bag,
Yeah, I don't know.
a sack of
Do you know
joy
why I think I say pockets? Because it's
in between bits and stuff.
yeah, and it's just finding every moment you can,
that's
rather
it.
than
That's it.
those big moments.
Is there anything you're keen to try? You haven't tried yet. That you're keen to. I want to give that a kick. I reckon that might cause joy.
I have tasked myself with this year picking something up or learning something new.
Okay.
And
How's that going so far?
so I have a keyboard,
Okay.
and you know,
So you have a keyboard.
I have a keyboard,
this
but
is-
it's just sat there
Okay. Well, I mean,
collecting dust.
Okay. Well, the first thing is you've got one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's really good news.
Yes.
Second, it's there. It's in a room somewhere, or is it in
Yeah.
a cupboard?
No, it's in a room, so I can see it.
Okay,
I
it's a
can see
visual.
it.
You're not hiding
I'm
it
not
away.
hiding it.
So
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah.
And piano is a really good instrument. It's all in front of you. There's nothing
Yes.
hidden.
Yes.
You know, it's like it's there. It's like it's very learnable.
Yes, it is.
And I think really, do you like to sing?
No. No, sorry. Yes, I like to sing. Whether I can sing is a different question.
Okay. Who told you couldn't?
Do you know what? Nobody. I think I just hear myself
Okay.
and I'm like, yeah, I don't
Well-
think. Or I hear the little screeches I make, but I enjoy singing along to things. Yeah.
What did your husband think of your singing voice?
He enjoyed when I would sing along to things. Like he wouldn't tell me to,
Okay.
yeah, to stop singing.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah, but I never actually stood in front of like people and sang. But I think I can, you know, when you just feel like you can hear yourself, and yeah.
Yeah, but we're not good judges sometimes
It's true.
of our own voices. Like everyone hates their talky voice, for instance. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I feel that sometimes that's similar for singing.
Yes.
So we're not particularly fantastic judges of our own
That's
voices.
so true.
How are we going to do it? Do you want to sing now and I can just judge?
Let me.
I'll let you know.
No. No. Don't want your ratings to go down on the podcast if I start singing.
What if I started singing? Would you join in with me?
No.
You sure?
No, I wouldn't.
Even if
No.
it's your favourite song?
Yeah, no.
You sure?
Yeah.
Do we try? It would make it more memorable.
Oh my gosh, no. No, I don't think.
Maybe I'll try again at the end of our chat to sing together.
Maybe I'll feel like
And then
ready
we'll
to.
know.
Yeah, we could.
Maybe this is the start of your keyboard journey.
Yeah, I would love that keyboard and being able
Okay.
and sing a lot. Like, yeah.
Well, look, just think of that song, all right? We can do a real basic one. Like, what's the most basic song?
Sing a-
Stand By Me or something? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it might be good, but even if what's the worst can happen, it's just two people singing. Do you know what I
Having
mean?
a good time.
Exactly.
Again,
It's pocket of joy.
Joy, yeah.
Pocket
that's
of joy.
Exactly what I was thinking.
And then you can say forevermore. I once, sang Stand By Me with a stranger at the top of a hill.
yeah, that's so true.
You're talking yourself around. This is
I
great
am.
positivity.
This is because normally I talk myself out of things. So
Okay, yes.
I'm trying to think
Okay.
of like how I would feel if I didn't.
you
I
feel
feel like I
great.
would feel good.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. What was the last thing you talked yourself out of?
A holiday.
So you looked at the holiday, you thought, no.
Yeah, I wanted to do like a solo travel.
Yeah,
Something me and my husband loved going
Uh-huh.
away, city break.
yeah.
And I was gonna go to Barcelona. Talked myself out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you talk yourself out of things?
Oh no, but what if I go away and this happens? Or what if I get there and I don't like it? And it's all the what ifs. And then it's like, do you know what? If I don't book it, then there's no what ifs, and then I'm good. I think it's just taking that leap. Because it stops me from doing things that I potentially want to do, because I'm worried about those things that I don't have control over. And then it's that feeling after where you're like, oh, kind of gutted, because actually I think I would have enjoyed it, or yeah.
So you basically you took yourself to the water's edge.
Yes,
but
exactly.
and you had your swimming costume on,
and then
but you did not go in that water.
I didn't go in the water. I threw the towel back on. I was like, nope, went back. Yeah.
But the good news is,
Yep.
Barcelona's still there.
It is. And it can still happen. And that's what I said to myself. I was like, okay, it didn't happen this time. But I think it's thinking then, what do I need to do differently next time to not talk myself out of it? Yeah, and I think it's strange because with grief as well, it makes you realise, for example, when I think about my husband, all these things he can't do, he could never do. And I'm like, I have the opportunity to do these things. But yeah, I think sometimes I feel like I'm letting moments in life pass me by. You know, you can't get that time back. Because I think it's so easy to talk yourself out of something, isn't it? It's easier than, doing it.
So true.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is something else you need to get done.
Yeah.
Maybe if you sing Stand By Me at the end, that will like propel you on. It's like, look, if I can do that,
then I can do anything.
I can book the ticket to Barcelona today.
Ticket. Yeah. That's so true.
Can I ask you about grief?
Yeah.
What have you found surprising about the process so far?
What I found surprising about grief is it's not linear. There's no rule book. There's no this happens then. And just you have days where you feel fine, and years go by and you're like, yeah, I'm good. And then you have moments where it actually hits you again. Yeah, I've realised grief is a journey, and it's a journey that you have to take at your own pace. But it's taught me to appreciate and acknowledge the things that I did get.
Yeah.
It's a sadness, but actually that sadness can coexist with the memories you have that are joyous and that make you happy. But it's been hard.
Yeah.
I would never sit here and say that it's been fine. It's been very, very difficult, but I have, leaned on people around me, friends, family, counselling, just anything to kind of support and understanding and being able to process and look at it differently.
What memory do you lean on to kind of pick you up that lifts you related to your husband? What do you tend to go back to?
So I tend to go back to like things that make me smile or laugh. Like he spent all day trying to make arancini balls?
Yes.
Following this recipe, was in the kitchen all day, was like, don't disturb me, I want to make these. Made them, and as he was, I think he turned, hit the counter, and everything just fell on the floor. Like, it was all over the floor. I just remember laughing so hard, and I remember him being so angry because he's like, I spent all day on these, and then him pausing for a moment, and then he started laughing, and we're just both there laughing. There's like sauce, and I don't know what it is, when you drop sauce just seems to just
really
go
fly.
in, it just goes in places that you're like, why is it there? But I always go back to that moment because it was just a moment of like just pure laughter, and we were just both crying. Yeah, it's memories like that where even now, just talking about it, I can just see us in that kitchen laughing together and just wait. And then
Did you get to try them?
No,
Did
we
did
didn't.
any survive?
No, none survived.
Oh, whoa.
None survived. But I think, yeah, it's just moments like that. They're the moments that I kind of lean on in times of like, yeah, sadness. They were good times.
When you see an arancini ball on a menu somewhere, do you just go past it? Do you order it?
Oh, I've ordered it, and it just always, that story
Yeah.
will forever sit with me. Yeah, even I've not attempted it. Maybe it's something I need to attempt, just to be
maybe
like,
on an anniversary or something.
yeah, just be like, there you go, I did it.
And then you make them and just chuck them.
And then
everywhere.
chuck them on the floor. Literally save one
Yeah.
and then chuck the rest on the floor. But yeah, I think when you lose somebody as well, it also brings you joy when you can still visualize and see those moments. Because I think that was a fear of mine, was forgetting. As time passed, do we forget? And I think my fear was, I don't want to forget anything. I want to, just put it in this box and tie it up. So I think when I go through days like that and I remember moments and I'm like, okay, I've still got them. Like, they're still up here. And like, sometimes I think of them and it feels like it only happened yesterday, even though it happened 10, 12 years ago. And I think in that moment, you don't realize as well that later on in life, how valuable and important that moment is going to be to you.
Yeah.
Today, that means so much to me.
Yeah. Beautiful. Can I ask you about how he died? Was it sudden? Was it?
So he was sick, and he had some like things that he battled. So his illness was going to eventually potentially kill him, but I think when he died, it wasn't expected.
Okay.
So he like gone to sleep, and they said because I wasn't there, but they believed he died in his sleep. And I think for me, as sad as it was, I don't know if there was a peace about him dying in his sleep, that peace of knowing someone's not in pain.
Yeah.
But I think you're never ready. When it happened, it just felt like someone just ripped my heart out, and I remember just collapsing. Like, it's just everything stops. It feels like your whole life, someone's just come in and smashed it to pieces, and then you're having to put those pieces back together. But they look a little differently, a bit like a puzzle. There's that piece missing, but it can still create a picture even with that one bit missing. And it's just trying to glue and bind everything back together in a different way.
You say you weren't there, so that mean you what? Where was he? Where were you?
So I was at my granddad's house, and then I got the call, and I just.
Who called you?
His mum.
Okay.
And I don't even know if I hung my phone up. I don't remember saying bye to her, however. I just remember my granddad was downstairs and he was in his 90s, and I just remember running downstairs and I just couldn't breathe, and my granddad's like I think he was saying what's going on or whatever, and I just collapsed in his arms. And my granddad, like, he's from the Caribbean, he's like old school, kind of, you get on with things. And I just remember he didn't say anything, he just held me, and that's a moment that sticks with me and will stick with me forever. It's just in that moment of something so sad and so dark, just somebody, and my granddad being that person that just held me, and he just holding me up. Yeah, and I think that was something that, ate me up, was not being there when my husband did pass away. He was not with anybody. What was his last thoughts? What's his last thoughts of feeling alone, thinking nobody's here when I'm going through this final moment in my life? And I think that ate away at me for a very long time. Of when you love somebody, you want to be there for them through every moment, especially when they need you the most, you want to be there. And I beat myself up of thinking, that was a time when he needed me the most, and I wasn't there. But, and I guess, yeah, whether you're there or you're not there, the outcome is still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say he wasn't well
Yeah.
prior. Did he at all kind of prepare you for life after him? But did you ever kind of discuss that?
Yeah, like he'd have, conversations of like, oh, when I'm not here, and like even with his siblings, be like, oh, when I'm not here, make sure you look after her, and but they weren't like comfortable conversations to have, because you don't want to be preparing for life without someone, and it's like if you don't talk about it, it might not.
Yeah.
Like we might be talking about something that never does happen, kind of thing. I personally avoided those kind of conversations because I never wanted to think about life without, someone you love so much, them not being here. And I think we probably all do that in things in life, that we just stay in that bubble to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Maybe a difficult question, but is there anything that you would have, when you're looking back at it, think, I wish I'd told him this or this or this?
Do you know what? I think, he knew that, I loved him, and we did tell each other those kind of things. But I think if I could look back now, I probably would just say to him, it's okay. In terms of, this happening, letting him know it's okay, or I'll be okay. Yeah, or just thank you. And I think that's it, is a thank you. We did I love yous, all of that, but never thank you for giving me the opportunity to experience love on that level, and thank you for showing me that I can just be me, and that is enough. I learned so much about myself and my life. Thank you for, the journey we did have, and how we just grew on that journey together. Because we forget to thank people in our lives, and like even just as I sit here, I'm just like, because there are so many people in my life that I don't think I've ever said thank you. Because I don't know, where like you say thank you to someone, they'll be like, what are you saying thank you for? Like,
No, exactly.
do you know, like, yeah, like, thank you for being my friend. What do you mean thank you for being my friend? Or, because thank you, even just thank you for being you.
Maybe you can have a thank you day.
Yeah.
Choose the thank you day and then
I
just
wouldn't
go
be
round.
surprised if there's like a national thank you day anyway. I have to look that up in the
If there's
calendar.
not, we can start it.
Yeah.
Just get in a run, just to do it on a day.
Yeah.
Imagine that for a day.
Oh gosh, yeah. Thank you.
That'd be an emotional day.
Do the keyboard, sing along on a song, book Barcelona. I've got a list.
Looking ahead to your future life.
Yeah.
You look like you have a lot of your life still to go.
I hope so.
Right? Do you ever see a time in your life where there's space for someone else in your life? And how do you feel about those things?
I have had moments of thinking, is this it? Is this my life? Is it just going to be me? And then I have moments of, would I kind of like to, experience what I experienced with my husband again? And it's very conflicting, I think, because you have moments of feeling very lonely, but then I have moments of no, because I don't want to do something that means I've forgotten my husband. And that's when I'm like, no, I can't do that. I can't, do that to his memory kind of thing. And then I think the other thing for me is, and very drastic, but it could happen again. And that's the other thing where I get that fear of loving, somebody again with the potential of losing them, which it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's a scary thought. Yeah, and I think it's hard because I'm in my 30s, so I still have, this whole life, hopefully ahead of me. So yeah, I'm not saying never, but I think, it's very difficult when you lose somebody and life still continues around you.
Yeah.
Friends in relationships, people, we didn't get to have a family, people have kids and all of that stuff, it doesn't stop. And that can also make it quite difficult, especially when it's things you wanted to do with that person. And it's now trying to understand that it will be with somebody else. And I think that's a process. My future, I'll see. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Take each day, moment, week, month, year as it comes. But I think I've just got to learn that I can still enjoy certain things for myself.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to ask you 3 more questions.
Yep.
Then we're going to sing. No pressure.
Oh, you didn't forget. I thought you forgot.
I'm not going to forget.
Okay.
Let's go. I'm going to go for what is the most amusing scene you have seen recently out on your travels, as in with your own eyes. You've seen anything that's kind of made you chuckle?
So I think yesterday, where I live, they were doing some works and the guy was instructed to paint just a little bit on the side of the ramp to come out of the car park. Just this little patch on the side, misunderstood, and he painted the whole ramp. And then, so it was wet, we were trapped in the car park and couldn't come out, and then the cars couldn't come in. I just found that moment really funny of just someone being given an instruction and going wild with it and the consequences of it. And I know it was like, there were people like they couldn't get into the car park and like there were people rightly so were a bit frustrated, but I think I just found it really hilarious that I was like, oh my God, he's just supposed to paint that one patch there and he's painted this whole driveway and he just didn't even have any thought of it's wet. No one could drive on it, and I just found that really funny. I don't know why, but
I like it. I see why.
It just made me laugh. Oh, I found it so funny, but I felt so sorry for the guy because he looked genuinely scared, like he was about to get in big.
At what point did he realise he had made an error?
I think it was when the cars were trying to get out, and then he realised, he was like, oh wait, because if I painted this. The cars can't drive in, and you could genuinely see his moment of like, I've messed up. The paint's there. I can't scrape it up. But it was, yeah.
I love the idea of being given a kind of. I feel like there should be some kind of word for this, but you're given a little task and you just kind of make it massive.
Make it massive. Make it worth. I mean, that situation probably wasn't joyous for him, but it brought me joy and it made me laugh and chuckle.
Beautiful.
And yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll ask you the last question.
Yeah.
And then I'll get up the lyrics to this song and I'll start singing it. Okay, no pressure. No pressure. You ready for the last question?
Go for it.
What are you
Yeah.
going to do next?
Now I am going to go home and have a cup of tea and probably think about what I'm going to have for dinner.
What are you going to have for dinner?
I don't know.
Think about it now if you want.
Yeah, I feel like something with chickpeas Or I feel like something with prawns. But I'm not sure what. But I will think about it over my cup of tea. That's my thinking time.
Important.
Yeah. And then I'll probably be able to figure it out, or it end up being a takeaway.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'll be so relaxed.
You've earned your treat after
Yeah.
having endured a whole conversation with a stranger on a bench.
Exactly, especially if I've got to sing.
You need a prize, exactly. So, yeah,
Something-
especially if you've got to sing.
Yeah. Oh, this stress of singing, I'm like, nope, just get a
It's gonna
takeaway,
be
get a
fine.
pizza.
That's going to be fine. What I'm so serious about the singing that I'm going to get these boys and play some music. I'm going to get them to slightly move. I don't want to be distracted. Have a look at the lyrics while I do that.
Hi.
Take the voice.
I'll get it off
I
my...
told those lads. I imagine they were like very scary, very scary youngsters.
They're like,
They were
"Zombie,
terrifying,
please."
I just said, listen, lads, just doing something here. Do you mind just shooting off down the way?
Moving out of the way.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, you ready? You prepared?
I'm not prepared, but let's.
I'll start.
Yes.
You just join in whenever you feel comfortable.
Okay.
You got the lyrics up too?
I've got the lyrics up too.
You know how this goes?
Yes, I do. I
Yeah.
know the. Yeah. I was just like, I know the song, but I was like, this isn't my moment to sing the wrong lyrics.
Here's the moment.
Okay,
You ready?
go for it.
Okay. Oh, I just love the dramatic pause. When the night has come, do 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 do, and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light we'll see. Dum 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 dum. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. So darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand. Do, do, do.
Stand by me. Stand by me.
Yay, you did it. You did it.
I did it. That was so fun.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun. And the words as well. I was just like, yeah, don't be afraid.
That's
can
it.
sing this.
It's in the lyrics.
It's in the lyrics.
It's in the lyrics.
And do you know what? If people went past, I would have been like, I probably would have got loud and been like,
Yeah.
come on, join in. Oh, that was
Beautiful.
so fun. Who knew?
Who knew?
You see, sometimes you've just got to take on that opportunity and you don't know what joy you get from it. I was so joyous. There you go. That's my joy for the day is I sung Stand By Me in the park
That
on
was
the bench with a stranger.
That was a big joy for me too. That's the first time I've done that.
Oh, I love
Sing
that.
Stand By Me with a stranger.
I love now. I'm going to go home and learn it on the keyboard.
And you can because
There you
it's
go.
actually one of the.
I was going to say that's
yes,
got an easy.
It's one of the doable ones.
Because it's doo-doo-doo. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you too. Thank you so much.
It's been lovely.
I feel like I have done something that I would never have done. I feel like I would have gone, oh, no, sorry, I don't have time, and walked off. And actually, that was, yeah, such a pleasure. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Call me back into the kitchen. Not a sound. What a sound. The kind of music I've been missing. You come around. You come around. A silver light from time to time. sky so blue. Sing me down into the waters. Rolling waves are being brave. I know the earth was here before you, but wasn't made. I wasn't made. How could I miss the river's kiss? Oh, my heart. It stops and it starts. The light in your room is a flower in bloom under snow in the spring. In every bird